the rand fairly flat this morning, but held below the 15 rand to the dollar handle. A sharp about turn from the 15 rand 30 a week ago, which was the weakest level since March. Now stocks stayed largely muted on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange yesterday, mirroring the global stock market as investors stayed cautious ahead of the Federal Reserve's meeting. Now, to help us make sense of the latest economic and market developments and some company news, we are joined by Makwe Masilela, Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers. Dr. Masilela, thank you very much for your time as always. So, after closing a little changed on Wednesday, investors still waiting for that U.S. Federal Reserve chairperson, or should I say chairman, Jerome Powell's speech at the Jackson Hole Symposium for any detail on the possible monetary policy changes. Talk us through how the markets have opened this morning.
Good morning, and definitely we are waiting because now we want to stop speculating. We want some definite, information that when will the guys start tapering? Because we know what tapering basically means, that all this cheap money gets to be removed. And we know the stock market for some time has been getting a nice lift from all that cheap money. So yes, the time is now, because the meeting started today, but the closing remarks are coming out tomorrow. And our market just opened down almost 0.4% because of the global sentiment, and that's in line with what is happening with European markets. And also we got the news that the South Korean government, being one of the first biggest economies in nearly 3 years, to start increasing interest rates. So the focus goes back to central banks. But the long and short, we don't have any other catalyst to move the market other than to get the comments coming out of the Jackson Hole Symposium.
Mr. Makwe, talk to us about the Statistics South Africa, which says that South Africa's economy is actually much bigger than previously estimated. Talk to us about that data. What does it actually mean?
Basically, what you need to do, Cole, is that after every 5 years, you need to recalculate or rebase stuff. So the last time it was done, we were using the rebase based on 2010 numbers. So now we're using the numbers based on 2015. So using those numbers, it shows that your economy have grown. The size thereof is 11% more. But we need to bear in mind that the minute you start recalculating, you start getting new information, you start getting to reflect the clear economy. So now take stuff like, you have to say maybe personal services, start maybe including the lives of your, the caregivers into the economy, the lives of people who are offering stuff like that. Look at the financial services, and the real estate also had to increase. But when it comes to government services, now they decrease. So basically that's what we're doing, recalculating the whole issue. So at some point our economy was almost 4.9 trillion, now it's sitting at 5.5, hence the 11%, but we're still the second in Africa after Nigeria. I think the most important thing here is, as much as we've grown by 11%, that didn't do much when it comes to our economic growth. We've just grown just marginally. All it helps is that anything that you calculate using the GDP as a denominator, they will go down. When you start working on the debt to GDP, it will go down. Consumption to GDP, it will go down. Yeah. So that's the only thing that it does. But we still need to get the economy to grow.
Let's talk company news. The Distel Group releasing its results for the year ended 30 June. How did the brewing and beverage company perform?
The guys continue to do very well, whether you lock them down or not, Look at the group of sales, and the volumes thereof increased by more than 26%, and locally increased by more than 29%, and they also gained market share. Africa's growth increased by almost 22%, and the guys continue to expand when it comes to route to market, which basically tells you that you identify someone who's a little bit bigger in the area, so you use that guy to distribute to smaller guys, and the likes of Heineken are master in that. So Distel is also moving into that. The guys expect their profits to go up by almost 227%. I guess that's very excellent. And these are the guys that we know they suffered from hard lockdowns at some point.
Dr. Masilela, let's leave it there. That's all the time we have for this markets update for today. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Makwe Masilela, Chief Investment Officer at the Makwe Fund Managers.